I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Stephen Colbert pointed out that many Russian forces are communicating on unencrypted high-frequency channels that allow anyone with a ham radio to eavesdrop, to which Russian soldiers said, "A radio made out of ham? Can I have one? Because I'm so hungry." Putin's clearly a victim of his own pro-Russian propaganda. He doesn't even know Russia lost Rocky IV, Seth Meyers said. Intelligent officials reportedly believe that Putin has only recently learned how poorly it's been going. You can tell he's upset because now the table's even longer. Colbert, now Russia's walkie-talkies are being bombarded with heavy metal music from Ukrainian operators. Okay, that's not bad heavy metal, but if Ukraine really wants to mess with Russian soldiers, they should flood their walkie-talkies with an unbearably long podcast. Hey! Told you the other day about, for April Fools, the two Jimmys switched shows. Jimmy Fallon walked out on the set of Jimmy Kimmel Live and said, "Hi, I'm Jimmy." The audience went nuts, and then Fallon said, "Settle down, you're going to offend the other Jimmy." Fallon added, "For surprises on ABC this week, this one's a distant second." Meanwhile, over on The Tonight Show, Kimmel said, "We have a great show tonight, and if you don't like it, it's okay, it's not mine." Catching up on the Grammys, LeVar Burton introduced Nate Bargatze by saying, "The next presenter is a comedian. I need to caution everybody, remain in your seats and keep your hands to yourselves." Nate came out in a helmet and said they said comedians have to wear these now at award shows during the joke parts. It doesn't even cover your face. I think it just focuses on where you would hit me. All right, this is stupid. I'll take it off. Questlove referenced the slap, saying, "I'm going to present this award, and I trust you people to stay 500 feet away from me." And just to clean things up, Trevor Noah had a decent joke about NFTs. He said, "You know, it's been rough when your favorite artists go from trying to sell you music to trying to sell you pictures of digital monkeys." Louie CK won the Grammy for Best Comedy Album. It's not going over so well on social media. One user tweeted, "Rewarding that man makes light of sexual harassment and assault." Another added, "The Grammys are a great reminder that cancel culture doesn't exist and no white dude has ever been successfully canceled for anything terrible they do." Comedian Jen Kirkman really turned it up. She tweeted, "After spending the weekend in an anxious mental health place getting harassed in the hundreds by male Louie CK fans on my social media, this is a kick in the C word. Everyone hates women." She also tweeted, "Remember when male comedians this week were like, 'Chris Rock got slapped, comedy's in danger.' They never gave an F about those of us in comedy who are always in danger. They're silent tonight on Louie CK winning a Grammy for an album where he jokes about his assaults." I suspect Louie CK is going to be the topic of the week, and this is just starting to ramp up. I think we'll see a lot of opinion pieces in the next few days. Circling back to Slapgate, Veer Dawes had somebody tweeted him, "Someone needs to do a Will Smith on this one," meaning Veer. "He would totally deserve it, too." Veer Dawes tweeted back, "You're welcome to buy a front row ticket and try it at my next show. Just know I slap back, and once you've spent that front row money, your wife will probably slap you for ruining her evening. Cheers." John Oliver criticized O.J. Simpson for getting in on Slapgate. I mentioned this the other day in a video. O.J. weighed in and said, "Will Smith was wrong, but I understand the sentiment." John Oliver was not having it. He said, "Nope, not you, O.J., not you. No one wants to hear from you on this, especially when you seem to be coming live from the COVID patio of a Senior Frogs. You get to sit this one out. Think of the situation like a rowdy bachelorette ordering a mimosa. We just want as little juice involved here as humanly possible." Jerrod Carmichael had a fantastic weekend. His monologue on SNL, it was wonderful. I finally got a chance Sunday night to watch the entire SNL episode. I thought his monologue was fantastic. He was in the moment. I loved his pacing. I love his delivery, and that's what I loved about his special. We'll talk about the special in a second. In case you missed it, the whole premise was he said he wasn't going to talk about it, never said what it was. I'm not going to talk about it. I've talked about it enough. Kept talking about it. Kept thinking about it. I don't want to talk about it. You can't make me talk about it. He joked that he wasn't going to talk about it at all, and then Lorne Michaels specifically asked him to discuss it because, quote, "the nation needs to heal." Carmichael also talked about coming out as gay in his new special. He got some applause from the audience on SNL, and he said, "This is nice, but an expected response in New York. It's actually why I live here. If you say you're gay in New York, you can ride the bus for free and people just give you pizza. Honestly, if you're gay in New York, you get to host Saturday Night Live. This is the gayest thing you can possibly do." Now, if you haven't seen his special on HBO Max yet, it is very compelling. It is very entertaining. Is it hilarious? I don't think so. Vulture really nailed it here. Vulture wrote, "It's a remarkable piece of conceit, craft, performance, and vision." Let me jump in there. Yeah, it's crafted and it's a performance. Yes. And it's a truly astonishing way to probe so many ideas that have been bubbling up over the past several years about the role of comedy and how we value authenticity. It's the kind of special that basically demands you label it important, and it's not wrong. Vulture adds, though, even after recognizing all that, it's fair to step back from Rothaniel, that's the name of the special, and ask, who's it for? More questions. Are the audience members asking questions real? Are they plants? Are they part of the performance? Is it a combination of those things? Whether they're staged or not, the audience interventions are included in the final piece because Carmichael wants them to be there. So if Rothaniel's not made for the people in that room, it can still be intended for an audience watching it at home. Is it too naked, too selfish, too loose, too choreographed? What it is most clearly is a comedy special, even though during some stretches, the laughs are few and far between. That's from a longer review on Vulture that I just picked at, but yeah, they nailed it. Like I said, it's not hilarious, but I was enjoying it. It was good TV. It will make my end of the year list. Tom Segura has donated $10,000 to an LGBTQ+ organization after some protests outside his show. The Westboro Baptist Church protested Tom Segura's show. If you are not familiar with the Westboro Baptist Church, you are a lucky individual because they are some of the worst people on the planet. WIBW, who I'm getting this from, wrote, they are known for their controversial protests of the LGBTQ+ community. That is an understatement. I don't want to go there. Google it for yourself. Westboro Baptist Church, bunch of jerks. Segura said in light of the protests, he will donate $10,000 to the Trevor Project, an LGBTQ+ suicide prevention organization. Pete Davidson was on Staten Island over the weekend. Girlfriend Kim Kardashian attended, and they apparently visited Pete's grandparents. No other details available yet. The Laugh Button reports Eddie Murphy is in early talks to portray George Clinton in an upcoming biopic. You would know George from Parliament Funkadelic. Hari Kondabolu talked about the current version of his act. He spoke to NPR Milwaukee. Hari said, in some ways, this is a very different hour for me. I know that when comedians have children, everything becomes parent jokes. That's not quite the case with me. If I'm teaching my child about these things and I'm teaching my child about oppression in a way that's kind of funny, or what I'm saying about the world is conflicting with what he's seeing and what he's being taught outside the home, I mean, there's something there. Hari said about comedy in general, it's an underappreciated art form, and it's an underappreciated form of theater. Comedians are the workhorses of entertainment. We bring it to the people. It's an incredibly hard thing, and I'm proud to be one, to be a comedian. If you enjoy what I do here, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. Suggested amount $5. I'll take your $5. I'll go to the National Donuts chain. Oh, you hear this? This one's almost empty. I could use one. buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. Alonso Bodden spoke to the spokesman recorder. Alonso said the jester in medieval times was the only guy who could speak truth to power. He could make fun of the king. It has to be funny. I still think that's the comic's job. He talked about trying to goof on Joe Biden. He said the biggest material with Joe Biden is that we don't hear from Joe Biden. It's refreshing not to hear from a president every 5 minutes because he's actually working. The funny thing was when Barack was president, he was so popular. I used to tell people all the time that as much as California loves him, that's how much Alabama hates him. Alonso also joked about being on NPR's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. I always joke that I'm not a black guy in NPR. I'm the only black guy in NPR. Thing I like about it is that it relates to my material, and it's always topical. It's always talking about what's going on in the news right now. I love doing NPR. Jon Lovitz was in his mid-40s when things slowed down for him. This was post-SNL. He wasn't broke, but he figured he was on a pace to run out of money in 5 years. This from Tulsa World. Lovitz asked his reps to get him some work. They said, why don't you sell your house? Lovitz said, I was so mad. I said, screw that. I always wanted to be a stand-up, but I was too afraid or nervous to try it. It forced me to do it. Otherwise, I would have just gone back to being broke again, because it just gave up. So 13 years after SNL, Jon Lovitz decided to become a touring stand-up comedian. A lot of guys in my position, they'll work on an act for a month or 3 months, and then they'll just go out, and they don't know what they're doing, and they'll sell tickets, but they have no act. I said, I'm not doing that. It took like 2 years, and I slowly worked my way up to the full act. Now I know what I'm doing way better than I did in the beginning. It's night and day, I just did a show with Howie Mandel, who's been doing stand-up since the 70s. But he goes, oh my God, you just blew me away how good you were. I can't believe it. I asked Dana Carvey, one of my best friends, how do you get over that fear of getting up on stage? Dana Carvey said, you don't. You just got to keep getting up. That's it. And slowly it'll fade away. That's all you can do. And there's Bobby Moynihan news again, right? Yeah. Now, it looks like Bobby Moynihan is releasing a new animated show called Lightning Wolves, a parody of Thundercats. Now, the reason I'm saying it looks like is because Bobby Moynihan released this information on April 1, which in some parts of the world is known as April Fool's Day. Assuming it's real, Lightning Wolves is an homage to all those cartoons from the 80s we loved as kids. Thundercats, He-Man and She-Ra, G.I. Joe, Voltron, Silverhawks, cartoons that were packed full of important lessons while secretly selling toys to children. But this one has lots of cursing, all right? Sounds like it's real. Keep an eye on that. If you have Netflix, and you probably do, Ronnie Chang's new special is out today. It is called Speakeasy. I liked his previous special a lot, so I'm looking forward to watching this one. That is your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, wherever you get your shows. If you would like the show without commercials, become a premium subscriber on Apple Podcasts. $5 a month gets you the episodes early and commercial free. See you tomorrow.